like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down. Peace, light, and love. Welcome to my vlog, I think they call it. Watching the fish and getting very peaceful inside. I wanted to say things about words and about bridges. A bridge, there are two types of bridges I want to discuss. One is between, one side is you, the other side is the other person. And words can form bridges or they can destroy this bridge. So communication is vital and it's very important. Like some people, they edit their videos. I don't know how to edit videos yet. I think I know, but I have some technical issues there. So it's important to think before you say something. How will this affect the other person and what result you will get and what you want? If you want to form a bridge with another person, then saying words that you know the person will not like, saying things, unkind words about a person will definitely not get an effect of friendship or bond or form this bridge. You will still be you and the other person. And the other person, you say something mean, the other person says something mean, and you form a cycle of negative energy, which is what, we live in this area here, Middle East. This is exactly how it begins. One side throws rockets, the other side bombs, and then it doesn't end. It doesn't end. So the only way to form a bridge of peace between two people, whether they're a nation or an individual, is to be very selective about what we do say and to think about the effect. And that's an important lesson that you may know inside, because God knows I know this lesson well, but to practice it, you need to be able to work about controlling your mind and your thoughts and to not be impulsive and, to think before you act. As the wise man said, at the end of every, behind every deed is a thought, right? So speech is also an act. The other sort of bridge is between the physical and the spiritual, which ideally should be like this blend, but unfortunately there's a lot of discrepancy. And what happens is when we are not in balance, then we do harm to our bodies. And this is another balance that we need to maintain, and which I too struggle with. How do you keep the physical and the spiritual in balance? It depends on what your philosophy is. If you think that this is all there is, material is all there is, pleasure is all there is, you follow the pleasure principle, as Freud said, you think, this is all there is, just this world, and just have to eat and accumulate material things and just live. The body is just a physical entity, and that's everything. And your whole life focuses on the body and feeding it. It's like, reminds me of the Indian ceremonies where they have these idols, and they dress it up and they give it rice, and sometimes it looks really absurd to me. First time I saw them doing this ceremonies of feeding this statue, I was thinking, what is going on? And then I realized it made me think personally. I mean, that's not the intention, perhaps. It made me realize that that's what we do. You take this material entity and you just invest so much in it. You buy it clothes and you makeup and all sorts of things, and you transform it in all kinds of things. I see people with tattoos and they put all these beautiful tattoos. So I'm judging them. I'm just looking at it from my point of view. It's absurd in a way to invest in something that is going to die and leave the earth one day. And you may or may not believe that we have a soul, but I just know that I feel so much better when I invest and something that will take me a little bit higher, like a bird's eye view in this world. And rather than to stay with the material, I go a little bit higher sometimes. And that happens to me through art and poetry, through music, nature for sure. When I look at nature, I just feel so above everything. When I get away from nature, then I'm again in this material world of angry, loud people, especially here. And so for me, it just works that way, but it doesn't work for everybody the same way. And people don't like to be told. Nobody likes to be told and judged by other people. Nobody. So I guess I have to work on my communication and my editing skills. And rather than just apologize, just do it. Just don't say too many things. Think before you say to somebody. And your ideas about life may be very different than somebody else's. Like, I don't like the use of words. Like when I hear somebody using crude terms, body parts, it triggers for me things. And then I say things, and that triggers, oh, what a beautiful bird. As we're talking, missing this beautiful, beautiful, I think it's called kingfish in English. Kingfish, is it? It's a small little bird that eats, it's just beautiful. The male is beautiful, the female not. The whole issue of male-female is such a deep, deep issue beyond how people simplify it to body parts. I don't think being a man or woman is just a sum of body parts. I realize there are people that feel a very strong discrepancy between how they feel inside and their body. But I think I had a very strong belief since I'm a very young person that the body, investing in the body is just a waste of time, because by decorating it. It's like those idols, you take a statue and you put a dress on it, and it's like, really, this is the most important thing in life, is to invest in the outside? Is that really how it works? Does that make people happy? Because, if it was, then how come people do the transformations and they still find themselves not very happy? And it's a matter of investment. It's like you go to the bank and you can invest in different companies or whatever, stock market, I think. And I've concluded at one point, I'm going to put my money or my life or my wishes in yoga, and trying to work with this mind-body issues through this particular method. There are many methods and there are many, many paths in life. This is my solution. And now when I see a person who's really focused on the physical and say, look at this body part and look at this body part and look how I have big muscles and this, it somehow triggers in me this big need to scream, no, this is not going to be the path that leads you towards happiness, but this is not my path. And maybe it will. Maybe a person who feels very unhappy in their body and is able to transform, and what looks like, if I watched a video of those surgeries, and it looks so brutal. I mean, it looks so scary and brutal, and it looks extremely painful. And when I think of tearing a piece of your skin with muscles and nerves, I don't know, it just makes me feel, not that this person is crazy, but that I ask why. I do not understand it. And I need to be educated about it, that certain people feel they cannot live in this world as the way they were born. And I think the phrase, I don't have a choice, is also something that when a person says, I don't have a choice, instead of judging them and saying, you always have a choice, look at Viktor Frankl, who said there's always choices. You're talking to this person, but the words are not how they feel. You need to be in tune with other people's emotions in order to realize that your thinking and your thoughts and your words are not theirs. And well, I really need to end now and go on my own path. I do have places I have to be, things I have to do, but I wanted to say that it's very, very, very wrong to judge other people. And no matter how I sound like I'm preaching towards the yoga path, for me, it really works. And I can talk for hours and hours about why it works for me. But when you go to a person standing on one side and you're standing on the other side and you want to build a bridge, then you really have to select your words and the way you approach them. And sometimes you don't realize this person comes from such a different place than you, and you come from such a different place than them. So it's so important to edit. And so I really am going to take that lesson. It's been an incredible lesson for me. And I think it just happens that the most important lessons in life are often achieved through painful struggles, because we need to break down the old ideas we have in order to build a new bridge and go towards a path of greater understanding. So peace, light, and love for everybody. And to that person who helped me deepen my own insight into that. And if I said things that were not right, it's because I don't know how to edit yet. But I'm going to be there one day. And it's also important to be selective about listening to people we don't want to listen to, reading comments we don't want to read. We don't want to read it. We need to also realize that when we expose ourselves on social media, that's what we're going to get. And if we don't like it, then we shouldn't expose ourselves on social media. That's the lesson. The question is how much a person is going to hurt you and what their intentions are. And there should be limits, but this is another issue. It's very, very important to place limits and to say, I don't like this. And you don't need to have a video to say, I don't like the way you talk. Don't go into where the person comes from or what they're doing or what, or not going deeply in it. I do not like this way of you talking to me, and it's unacceptable. And that's it. And I wish in life we could block as easily as we can block on social media, which is where social media is different than life, and in so many other ways too. And I myself am trying to minimize my exposure to social media, because real friends interact with you in a very different way than fake friends who always say, oh, we love you so much and you're such a wonderful person. And it doesn't mean that real friends say mean things to you. No. But they should say what they mean and mean what they say. Thank you. Peace, light, and love.